Hello everyone. We have started with classification of polymer. We have done with first basis, that is classification of polymer based on the source. Second, we have done with classification of polymer based on the structure of that polymeric chain or structure of that polymer. Third, we have started with the classification basis, that is on basis of the type of polymerization reaction so involved. Then we have done with first basis for classification, that is nothing but addition polymerization, and I have explained that basis through a free radical mechanism where three steps were there. One, it refers to the chain initiation, second it refers to the chain propagation, and third it refers to the chain termination. The overall mechanism is called as free radical mechanism because whatever the free radicals so involved, either it is from benzoyl peroxide or from tertiary butyl peroxide or from the acetyl peroxide, that free radical plays a very important role in that mechanism or while undergoing that addition polymerization, and that's why the type is so called as free radical mechanism. So in last lecture we have done with that. Now we will start with the remaining part of that classification basis, that is based on classification of that polymer based on the polymerization reaction. We have done with addition. Now we will start with condensation polymerization. Condensation polymerization, it is also called as state growth polymerization. Okay. Now why it is said to be state growth polymerization, that we will see. In condensation polymerization, whatever the polymeric chain is there, its growth increases with increase in a number of steps for condensation. So in condensation polymerization, the chain of that polymer grows with increase in number of steps for that condensation, and that's why that polymerization is also called as state growth polymerization. So it depends upon the series of condensation steps taking place, and that's why this type is so called as state growth polymerization. Okay. The best example for this is nothing but we will see example of terylene or we will see example of Dacron. Two reactants are involved in this. Let's see. One, it refers to ethylene glycol. Okay. What is this? It's a ethylene unit. Okay. CH2, 2-methylene. Therefore, it becomes ethylene. And these are two hydroxyl group. We will take N mole of this. This is nothing but ethylene glycol. Okay. It is allowed to react with N moles of terephthalic acid. So it is N. And since it's a terephthalic acid, it's a dicarboxylic acid. So we will have this type of structure. N moles of terephthalic acid is taken. Okay. So we will have N moles of ethylene glycol and N moles of terephthalic acid. Whenever they are allowed to undergo condensation reaction, as the name is condensation, therefore there is removal of simple molecules like ammonia, there may be removal of some amines, there may be removal of urea, there may be removal of water, anything. So N moles of water are removed, okay, N moles of water has been removed, and what it will give you, see, if there is a hydroxyl group and next to that there is carboxylic acid group, right? So OH from that ethylene glycol and H from that terephthalic acid, it is removed, and that's why, see, in this way the water will be removed, okay, and what left? It's CH2. Okay, so see, this is ethylene glycol and this is terephthalic acid. So OH from this ethylene glycol and H from this carboxylic acid will be removed. Okay, and we will see this type of condensation reaction. It's CH2 as it is. Okay, with this bond as it is. Then that OH will be removed. That's why I'm not writing this OH. Okay. So it's CH2 as it is. Now once this water is removed, what left is this oxygen from the ester linkage, then C double bond O, that is this carbonyl group. Then we will write this benzene ring as it is. Okay. And next to that again the ester linkage. Is it clear? And therefore N moles of this unit will be repeat will be repeated while producing this type of polymer. This is nothing but terylene, or it is called as Dacron. Okay, so in this type of polymerization, there is removal of simple molecule like water, and therefore it comes under a category which is so called as condensation polymerization. Is it clear? So that refers to condensation polymerization. So while writing notes, what you are supposed to write is, write title as classification of polymer based on the type of polymerization reaction that you have written earlier for addition polymerization. Once addition polymerization is over, start writing second type, that is condensation polymerization. What you will write in condensation polymerization? In condensation polymerization, the chain growth takes place by a series of condensation reaction or condensation. Therefore, this type of polymerization is also called as state growth polymerization. And next to that, write down example. So this is an example. N moles of ethylene glycol plus N moles of terephthalic acid undergoes condensation reaction with removal of N moles of water minus NH2O, and it will give you this unit on, this is nothing but polymer, and this is so called as terylene, or it is called as Dacron. So clear? So this refers to the second type, that is nothing but condensation polymerization. Now we will start with third type, and that is so called as ring opening polymerization. Okay, so the name itself indicates ring opening polymerization is nothing but, in that case, whatever the monomer unit is taken, it undergoes ring opening, and therefore the type is so called as ring opening polymerization. For this, some cyclic ketones, cyclic ethers, lactams, lactones, they are utilized, and therefore in such that cyclic ring is undergoing opening or undergoing breaking, and therefore this type of polymerization is called as ring opening polymerization. So now we will see third type, that is nothing but ring opening polymerization. Okay, so in that case, lactams, then lactones and cyclic ethers, this type of compound undergoes ring opening polymerization. We will see some basic example. See, okay, so in that case, this is alpha position, this is beta, this is gamma, this is del, and this is epsilon. Okay, so this compound is taken. This is called lactam. In that case, it undergoes breaking over here at this position, and therefore we will have ring like this, compound like this. This NH as it is. Okay. Next to that, there is C double bond O. So I have written this carbonyl group. And 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 5 CH2 that is 5 methylene unit. And this is a monomer which undergoes repeated addition, and it will give you polymer. So in this case, whatever the starting compound we have taken, it's cyclic in nature, it undergoes breaking, and therefore ring gets open, and that's why it results into formation of a polymer. Since ring get open, therefore it is called as ring opening polymerization. Is it clear? So that refers to the third type, which is coming under the category classification of polymers based on the type of polymerization reaction. Okay. Now we will start with the next basis for classification. So we have done with, I think, 3 bases for classification. We will start with now the classification of polymers based on the type of intermolecular forces existing between them. So let's start with 4th basis for classification, that is intermolecular forces existing between the polymeric chains. So classification of polymer based on type of intermolecular forces. So on Basis of this, polymers are classified into 4 types. One is called as elastomer, second is called as fibers, third is called as thermosoftening polymer, and fourth is called as thermosetting polymer. Okay, so start with this. We are starting with this. First is nothing but elastomers. Okay, so what are elastomers? Elastomers basically possess a property that is called elasticity. Elasticity is nothing but the property of polymer where they get stretched to certain extent by the application of applied force, and once the applied force is removed, they retracts its original position or they regains its original position. So that property is called as elasticity. So elastomers said to possess a property which is called elasticity. And what is elasticity? So the first point to write in elastomer is, it is the property of polymer where they get stretched to certain extent by the application of applied force or deforming force, and as soon as the force is removed, they regains its original shape. That property is called as elasticity. Second, you will write, the elasticity property arises due to presence of some weakest forces existing between the polymeric chains, and those weakest forces are van der Waals forces of attraction. So first you will write this, second you will write, the property elasticity arises due to presence of weak forces like van der Waals forces of attraction. And why these forces are existing between the elastomers? This is because presence of crosslinks. So crosslinks present between the polymeric chains tend to make that polymer, tend to extend that polymer or to the certain extent by the application of applied field, applied force, and as the force is removed, it regains its original shape. So the property elasticity arises due to presence of weak forces like van der Waals forces and due to presence of crosslink between the polymeric chain. That polymer tend to extends to certain extent by the application of applied field, and as the force is removed, it regains its original shape. So these 3 points you are supposed to write. Due to presence of crosslink, polymer gets stretched to certain extent by the application of applied force, and as the force is removed, it regains its original shape. So these 3 points you are supposed to write in elastomer. An example for this is nothing but vulcanized rubber. Okay. Then there is Buna S rubber, Buna N rubber, and neoprene rubber. These are the neoprene, Prene, neoprene rubber. So these are the examples for elastomer. Okay. So we have done with the first type, that is nothing but elastomer. These 3 points you are supposed to write along with the example. You can refer your book as well while writing notes, and if you are having any doubt, you can contact me. Then second type we will start with, that is nothing but fiber. As I told you earlier, there are 4 types. One it refers to elastomer, second it refers to fiber. So we will start with now fiber. So the second type is nothing but fiber. So the first point you will write in fiber is those polymeric solids which possess tendency to form a thread-like structures, those are called fibers. So first point you will write polymeric solids, those polymeric solids which forms thread-like structure those are called fibers. Okay, so that is the first point you are supposed to write. Second point is this type of polymer possesses very high tensile strength. Okay, so this type of polymer possesses very high tensile strength, that is they shows resistant towards breaking under tension. So this kind of polymer shows you resistance for breaking if they are placed under tension. So this type of polymer possesses higher tensile strength, that is, they resist breaking if they are placed under tension. Third point is why this kind of polymer possesses higher tensile strength. This is because whenever there is a higher tensile strength, it arises because of presence of strongest intermolecular force of attraction. So, higher tensile strength is due to presence of strongest intermolecular forces of attraction. Okay, and which are those strongest intermolecular forces of attraction? It is nothing but hydrogen bonding, or it may be dipole-dipole interaction. Okay, so see, 3 points you will write. Polymeric solids which try to possess thread-like structures, they are called fiber. They possess higher tensile strength, that is, they resist breaking whenever they are placed under a tension or the applied force. Then presence of strongest intermolecular forces of attraction is there, and that's why they said to possess highest tensile strength. And which type of strongest intermolecular force of attraction is present? That is nothing but hydrogen bonding or dipole-dipole interaction. And since they said to possess higher tensile strength, and that's why they are somewhat crystalline in nature. So fourth point you will write, they are crystalline in nature. Okay, so that refers to the four points as far as the classification of polymer is concerned. And the best examples left. Best examples are nylon 66. Okay, so that comes under a category that is nothing but fiber. Okay, now next we will start with third type as far as this classification basis is concerned, and that is so called as thermo-softening polymer. The name itself indicates thermo-softening polymer is nothing but if you want to know about the elastomer or fibers, you can just Google it. There were so many images for elastomer, there will be so many images for fibers. The pictures are also given in your book, you can also refer that. Okay, next we will start with third basis, or third basis, that is nothing but thermo-softening polymer. Okay, thermo-softening polymer, the name itself indicates thermo-soft. That is, the polymers which become soft on heating and hard on cooling, those polymers are called as thermo-softening polymer. So first point you will write, polymer which becomes soft on heating and hard on cooling, those polymers are called thermo-softening polymers. So due to repeated heating and cooling process, that type of polymer can be remolded or can be reshaped. So second point is they can be reshaped or remolded. Okay, so this kind of polymers can be reshaped or remolded, and therefore they can be reclaimed from the waste. Okay, they can be reclaimed from the waste, and they possess intermediate intermolecular forces of attraction. Intermediate intermolecular forces of attraction between elastomers and fibers. Okay, and examples for this is our PVC, it's a polyvinyl chloride, it's PP, polypropylene, PP, and polyethylene, PE. Okay, so that refers to thermo-softening polymer. So 4 points you are supposed to write in this thermo-softening polymer. Okay, This is polymers which become soft on heating and hard on cooling. So because of this property, you can subject it to repeated heating and cooling process. Then they can be reshaped and remolded. Third, they can be reclaimed from the waste, and they possess intermediate intermolecular force of attraction that refers to PVC, PP or PE. Okay, examples. And the last type that refers to thermosetting polymer. Fourth one. Thermosetting polymer. The first point, that is, once they got shape, they cannot be reshaped. Okay, so once this type of polymers are there, once they got to shape, they cannot be reshaped. Second point is, on first heating, they become soft, but on further heating, undergoes decomposition. Okay, so this kind of polymers, once first you are going to heat, they will become soft, they will catch some shape, okay, where they can be molded or shaped. But once they got a shape, on further heating, whenever you are going to heat that, they directly leads to decomposition. And why it is so? Because there is extensive cross-linking present by covalent bonds. So whenever we are going to heat such kind of polymer, the extensive cross-linking breaks, as there are some what we can say irregularities will happen whenever we are going to heat that polymer, and the covalent bonds or the cross-link present between them undergoes breaking, and therefore this type polymer leads to decomposition on further heating. Example is bakelite and phenol formaldehyde. Okay, so here we have done with all the four types. One, it refers to elastomer, second, it refers to fiber, third, it refers to thermo-softening polymer, and fourth, it refers to thermosetting polymer. So these are the four types depending upon the type of intermolecular forces. Thank you.